Okay, so now I have downloaded 3 textures. So I've got a carpet, a tile, and a timber floor. And now what I'm going to do is jump into CAD. So this project I worked on in 2019 and I haven't really looked at the CAD file since. So when we open it, it could be a bit of a mess. Let's see what's in here. Okay, yep, so there's a lot of drawings in here from the whole process. So what I'm looking for is I want the finished floor plan, which I have here, and it has a lot of electrical items on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this drawing and copy and paste it to somewhere in my file that's not as busy. Okay, so down here, and I'm going to turn off some layers so that I can make sure that it's looking, I want it to be nice and clean. So I'm going to come to Window, Layers, and have a look. Okay, so things like annotations, I want to turn off. Any hatching, I want to turn off as well. I'm going to turn off all that hatching. So that's all gone. And then any electrical fixtures as well, I'm getting rid of those. So I can see my doors in here. I've got my fixed joinery. Everything else is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't need to show the, oh well I can, the garage door. If I do, it's dashed above. Okay, I'm just going to type regen so I can see everything that's happening. Just selecting these line types. I want to make sure that it's all nice and clearly visible. Okay, this has a projection. We don't need this guy sitting here. Okay, so we can see all of our different walls as well. If we wanted to show furniture, the furniture would be going in at this point also. Oh, we've got some electrical wiring, so I'm just tidying this up. I'm just checking my line type scale to make sure that all of my different line types are visible. Okay, which is good. Going to get rid of these extra lines in my floor plan. Just tidying all of that up. Okay, so I've got my doors sitting in here. This is looking pretty good. Any kind of extra information around the outside, I'm going to delete. Remember, this is a copy. And then I always, once I've tidied it up, I'm going to make a second copy. Select this guy. I'm going to put all of him into layer 0. And my line weight, I'm going to put all the way down to 0.15, just so that I can see what it's like without those line types in there as well, or different line weights. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in my paper space, create a new layout. So a blank layout, and I want to make sure that this is A3 sized. Okay, so I'm going to delete that viewport. Right click where it says layout and choose edit page setup. I am on a Mac. If you're on a PC, right click and say page setup manager. I'm going to choose A3 420 by 297. Fit to paper, print with plot styles, that's what I want. So I'm going to click OK. I don't need a title block and a legend and notes because I'm not adding that information. This is for rendering purposes only. So then I'm going to right click and say new viewport, and filling most of the page I'm drawing a viewport, and that viewport we always pop in the def points layer so the line at the edge of the viewport doesn't show up. Double click to activate the viewport. We know it's activated because the border of our viewport becomes heavier in line weight, and then in our status bar in the bottom right we see additional scale options. So I'm going to come over here and zoom in. Let's try say 1 to 100. So that fills the page nicely. If I need to, I'm going to type regen just so all my doors become smooth and curved. Okay. So we can see this sitting here nicely. Got a little projection there. I'm going to delete that if I need to. Okay, so I've got one here. I'm actually going to move this up so I can plot both of them on the same page. 1 to 100. There we go. I just want the two line weight variations just in case I need them. So I'm going to lock this viewport at 1 to 100. Control P takes you into your plot screen. So I'm choosing my printer, DWG to PDF, paper size A3 window. What I want to do is toggle the little option on the right and draw a rectangle over the entire page. Then I want the scale 1 to 1. I'm going to choose monochrome as my plot style. I'm going to say print transparency, and what I want to do now is preview my PDF. So I'm going to open this, and that has opened in my PDF viewer, and we can see that's looking pretty good. Okay, nice and crisp. This one is definitely got some heavier line weights, so I'll probably just be sticking to this one. So what I'm going to do in Adobe now is File, Save As, and I'm going to save onto my desktop. Once it's opened, save it as a PDF. So desktop, Photoshop. So I've got the project name, and generally I call it floor plan and then for Photoshop, just so I know what the use is for. Okay. If I want to save this as a JPEG image as well, what I can then do in Adobe is come to File in the top left, and I can say Export to Image, and I can choose JPEG, TIFF, PNG. So I'm going to use PNG. I like having both options just in case. So I'm downloading them. Okay. So once I've got that, I'm going to close my Adobe. My CAD, I don't need any more, so I'm going to save and close. And then the next step is I'm going to be jumping into Photoshop, which is in the next video. Thanks.